Hey all, this is Paul from Drums and Rums with a backbeat meets the spirit. I'm glad to be back. I know it's been a long hiatus or break or whatever you want to call it. I'm really excited. We've been planning this episode here for a while. A lot of things going on. I know for me, and this year it's been a crazy year. The 5th anniversary of the podcast. So it's great to be back, and it's great to be at an awesome location and an awesome guest we're going to talk to today on the podcast. But shit, let's just get right to it. It's always a great drive down. You're in the Keys. How do you? To me, I always feel like I'm on the edge of the earth or the edge of the U.S.
Well, we like to say down here that we are closer to Havana than we are to a Walmart, which is nice.
Are you serious?
90 miles to Havana. It's 200 and something to a Walmart. So,
wow.
I've been fishing before and seen Cuba. So,
wow, that's kind of crazy. So, but yeah, so we're back in Key West. We're here at the distillery. Last year we set as the first Key West Rum Festival was held here.
Right, we did the grand tasting here. Yep,
and it was a great event. And we're back, and we're going to talk to Shaun and learn more, see what he's got going on, kind of some things not rum related we'll talk about too.
Yeah.
That sound good?
Rum, not rum, everything in between.
Everything in between. That's why I say it's where the backbeats of spirits, is between drums and rums and everything in between. So,
there you go.
So there we go. We got to figure out. So I know we just did a little tour and shot some additional footage of behind the scenes, and but let me back up here. How did you end up here at this distillery? And I know it's probably like, oh, gee, this is going to be a 4-hour podcast.
Oh, no.
Go into
right?
No,
we're not. We don't need to go into all that. But I mean, so long story short is I have a master's degree in marine biology I got from Nova Southeastern University. I moved down here in 2014 working as a scuba instructor, a boat captain, and I was doing that. It was a nice break from the cubicle job I had at Nova. And I was kind of searching for my marine biology gig. You don't make a lot of money in the dive boats. Key West is an expensive place. A buddy of mine, Carlton Grooms, who is a great friend and briefly was a business partner, he was the director of operations for Pilar as they were building this out. This building was a big empty construction site. My first desk was over there, fold-out table where I had to brush dust off of it when they were jackhammering in here when they're building the distillery out. So this was a stopgap job for me.
Okay.
While I was, because I was doing environmental consulting and I was applying for jobs, and the universe didn't push me that way, and that was back in 2016, and so I'm still here. That's the long and skinny of how it. Carl left the company, and they split up his job between myself and Trisha, and her and I kind of took the reins of the place, and I got the rum making job, and
and the rest is history, as they say.
The rest
right?
is history. Yeah, still here.
Yeah. So speaking about the building, because this is a historic building, I saw the placard outside.
This was William Curry's warehouse, the tobacco warehouse. This building was finished a few months before the Eiffel Towers, like 1880 something.
Wow.
And William Curry was the first millionaire in Florida. And from wrecking and from tobacco and different things. So this was his warehouse. So it's pretty old. It sat empty for 20 years actually before our company took the building over.
Okay.
And the gentleman who owns it just wanted something special to go in here. Didn't want another store or something in here. So he sat on it for a while, and we came to him with this, and the rest is history again. So
yeah. And I think that if you have never been to Key West. There's so much, down here, and as they refer to as you never leave because they call it Keys disease, right? Once you're here, and then you get it.
Well, Keys disease is a different thing. That's people that don't know how to turn off the drinking. So.
Well, but the building though, it kind of ties into just there's a lot of history in Key West.
Yeah, I mean, besides the Curry warehouse, it was a handprint factory, Key West handprint factory. I'm blanking on the name of she has a store just down the street, but a very famous designer
Lily Pulitzer.
Lily Pulitzer. Thank
There
you.
you go.
Thank you. Yeah, she got her.
There goes that sponsor. There goes that sponsor. Right?
So she got her start here. She used to work here. Actually, so down the street here at Casa Antigua, or has a sign that says Pelican Poop Shop. That was an apartment building before, and Ernest Hemingway's first place of residence in Key West was there, and he actually worked on, I forget which novel, For Whom the Bell Tolls, I believe. And at that same time, this building was a gymnasium. So at that time, buildings of this size would have had a boxing ring in them.
Okay.
And Ernest was a pugilist. And so he would have, it's very likely he would have boxed here, or he would have at least reffed. He liked to ref matches as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's possible Papa was in here and boxing.
Yeah, that makes
or working out or something. So
yeah, because when you do the tour of the house, the Hemingway house, there's talks about how he's into boxing and into fights, and it's a Joe Louis. I think there's some. It's one of a boxer.
I don't want to misspeak. We know that Blue Heaven, the restaurant over in Petronia, that used to have a boxing ring in, and there's records of him refereeing boxing matches.
Yeah, and Hemingway was a big guy, right?
6 foot, 200 pounds. Yeah.
Yeah, so
big
he was a big dude. So so here you're 2016, 17. You end up here in Key West. You take over the rum job, the distillery, making rum, etc. And then how does it feel like to look back now? That's nearly 7-8 years later.
It's coming up on 10 years in this position.
Yeah.
It's a blur. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I've never lived in some place for so long.
Right.
Yeah, I would typically, since I left high school, we move around a little bit more. But Key West is so magical. I really can't think of where else I would go. But to think back on, because I was just, when I first got into grad school, 2014, I was just learning about rum.
Okay.
Admittedly, was a captain and coke guy in undergrad. But then I learned better.
Yeah.
Nothing against Captain Morgan.
There's more out there.
I've gotten past
Right.
that, and I just started exploring more rums, and then through friends of mine, Carl Grooms and Mike Streeter and Bahama Bob and numerous other people, and learn more about rum and refine my palate, and so kind of became a rum geek and got to be a rum judge, and so it's kind of cool just to be a guy who was super interested in rum that somebody kind of gave a distillery to and said, here, do this. And so I get to tinker, and I talked earlier about some of the stuff that we did.
Right.
I get to do on a daily basis, which is kind of neat.
Yeah. So the I guess from that time, what in the we'll take a second here. I'm going to ask about the industry in general, right? Is how much what is unique that you've seen over those nearly 10 years in your role, just in the industry alone, in the rum industry.
Like what's unique in the rum industry?
What do you see that's really kind of changed, over those 10 years, just in the industry in general?
Well, I think, and it started happening back in, I want to say the early 90s, as I've started to do research on rum and read, Pietrich's books and things. And David Broom and all that. It's we see this rum started to kind of make this upswing, it kind of hit rock bottom. It was all Bacardi. It was all rock gut stuff, random names on plastic bottles. And
highly marketed,
unaged, not very good rum, and then, but we start seeing an increase in quality, and people are starting to recognize, I think, rum as a premium spirit, and even in the whiskey world, a lot of the whiskey guys and people, are starting to see that, rum can stand up to some of the whiskeys, scotches, and bourbons out there. So it's starting to get its respect. It's separating itself from the foo-foo drinks, from the sugary cocktails, the umbrellas, to something that, you're going to pour that neat. You're going to pour it on the rocks, and you're going to enjoy it just as well as you would the other ones.
Yeah. It's, I guess, the one, maybe, I don't know, I haven't delved too much into a lot of the other spirits, but it does seem like rum gets, a bad rap and beat up a lot about, whether it's, it's always just the tropes about rum, whether it's pirates or, those kinds of things. And, but yeah, it's interesting that those as part, like the Florida Rum Society, anyone that tries to get the word out there and education
Right,
that
yeah.
there's
Doing
more
great
than
things.
just other things. Or again, the Key West Rum Festival, right? These
Right.
are opportunities to bring people in and say, hey, try some of these other brands, that are out there, great smaller brands. There's still some of the, bigger ones that are there too that are, down in the Caribbean, right? Outside of Florida and the U.S. So
Yeah, and it's great
Yeah.
seeing these things, whether it's Rum Renaissance with Robert Burr, it's the Miami Rum Congress, which is really is really taken off and
Right.
is becoming a really great educational experience. I look forward to doing that again next year. And just these festivals that are popping up, people writing about it, talking about it,
right,
and showing where rum is not what people think it is,
right.
And that's like we talked about earlier. I like to dispel those myths when people come in here. They're like, well, it's from sugar, so it's sweet. Well, all alcohol is from sugar, right? I like to tell people and explain the fermentation process. Pirates drank a lot of rum. It's like, well, if you look at the golden age of piracy and when rum became a thing, it's like there's a little overlap, but not a lot. So yeah, they probably drank some rum, just not as much as people think. It was from, what was it, Treasure Island, when that really became kind of intrinsically linked. So I love to dispel those myths to people, just to give them, but not to poke holes in people's pop people's balloons or whatever, but just to. I think people should be, if you're going to talk about something, you should be educated on it.
Yeah. And it's like, I know, the history of rum goes, very, very far back, and just even the nuances of kind of like, how the Royal Navy is very involved in that. And there's a whole history, and definitely dive deep in that. I think Matt had come out with a book recently about some of the Royal Navy history and how the rum was made for that. But Black Tot Day and or being on the ship and getting your daily ration, and other than just throwing a couple limes and lemons and limes in the barrel of the rum, right? I guess to keep your scurvy away, right?
Keep scurvy down. Yeah. That's that vitamin C. Yeah, the first daiquiri.
Yeah, I guess nobody's adding sugar or anything after other than fruits, I guess, right? On the ships, but yeah. So you going through, and as the distiller here, what are some of the things that you're kind of working on now?
I'm always working on. So we have our flagships, our dark, our blonde, our rye barrel finish, and our sherry finish, and I often say, and I said earlier that that's I'm following. I didn't come up with those. Those are things that we put out in our national market, and those are great, and I get to do those. I like to liken myself to a line cook in that reference, because I'm following a recipe and I'm doing that. So the things I get to tinker with here on a daily basis are my distillery reserves that are only available here. In the beginning we were doing some blends, and we're going to taste a couple of those, and we'll taste some that aren't. But now that I've got enough age stock. Moving forward, the goal is for every drop of those distillery reserves to have came in that is building as molasses, and then I turn them into rum and put them in barrels and create those. And those are small batch, under 100 cases, only available here, and just whatever I come up with. So like on a daily basis, I'm always reading, researching, thinking, experiencing other people's products, and thinking about one we came out with that we'll taste. It's the first one I'm doing at barrel proof, which is exciting, 122.2 proof. It's very, very good. One in the barrel at 114. Thankfully here we lose water and gain alcohol. So we don't gain alcohol, but the proof goes up. The ratio changes. But and that one I borrowed from Maggie Campbell, because she had her Queen Share, and I love that rum, and I saw a talk she did about how she did it. So Bahama Bob and I decided, well, let's try to do that. Obviously we're not going to call it Queen Share. That's a privateer thing, but but we decided to do that, and it came out 4 years in the barrel, and it's fantastic.
Wow.
So,
okay. All right.
And just little things like that, seeing what other people are doing, and because as we haven't been doing this for generations like some people have. We're doing it through research and through being two guys that have drank a bit of rum in our day, so we have some experiences to pull back on.
You know what you like, right? What's and what maybe others give you feedback to kind of draw on to go in that direction. I think that's interesting, is that that sharing and even recognizing others in the industry. for inspiration and to do other things yourself. Or,
Right.
I know there's a few other, folks that have been, on the podcast in the past and have talked about, a similar person you mentioned earlier was they were at some event or one of the rum events, and they got up there, did their talk, and this other distiller kind of was like, took in some of that information, say,
Right.
well, yeah, let me give that a try, or approached the speaker and asked some questions, and they were very open about it and very so I mean, it's kind of interesting. It's it's a business first, right? Everyone's in a business,
Right.
but it's that I think sharing of the knowledge in the rum community and industry that hey, there's enough room for everybody. How to kind of you're all trying to sell bottles. I get that, but
Right.
there's still some some rum community to say, hey, to be able to ask you a question, or so I don't know, whatever a person's willing to share, I guess is my point, which
And that's the great thing about some of these people. They're so willing to share within this community that the things that they do and how they do it. Like I mentioned when I talked to Alexander Gabriel, and we were talking about cognac. We were talking about rum, and Bob and I had been using. And it was just purely to maximize alcohol, taking our tails and recycling it back into our stripping run just to pull more alcohol out of it. And then through reading and through talking to Alexander and learning more about how they do reintroduction of, what people call the tails or the seconds back into the different parts of the run on a batch distillation pot still run is kind of, and they do this in Scotch whiskey as well, like coming up with those ideas to reintroduce that into our run. And so now we've got, I think 6 different marks now, and a lot of those are just variances on where we put, where and how much,
right,
and the ratios we introduce these, and they make significant differences. So we this one little thing from this one little conversation and just random side off at the rum, one of the rum festivals, I forget which one now, with Alexander, like changed how we made our rum, you know. And so it's really cool. And then meeting people like Mitch at Lallemand and getting the lactobacillus and, experimenting with yeast strains and working with him. And it's cool. We get to tinker and come up with things. And, when I call my boss, Ron Call, who's our lead distiller rum maker, and he anytime I ask him, I'm like, hey, Ron, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think? He'll go, well, why? And as long as I have a reason, he goes, you don't know unless you try. So it really have no reins on me at all. As long as I'm not like, doing something that's going to poison somebody. They're like, he's like, give it a try, see what happens. And so getting to experiment has been really fun.
Or the story you talked about earlier was when we were doing a tour, was you're buying all those barrels and say, what are you up to? And then the boss says, no, let him do his thing.
Yeah, he's thinking good rum. And that was a compliment, because with Ron, we like to joke that, as he's been making spirits longer than I've been alive. I won't date Ron or myself on that statement, but he's made anything from me. Obviously, with Booker No taught him how to make whiskey, right? So he knows whiskey. He's made tequila. He was with Cruzan for a while and kind of helped build that company up a little bit, and so he knows spirits. But so he doesn't dole out the compliments. Like, so the running joke in the company is like, if you get it pretty good from Ron, then that's pretty good. That's like the gold star. Like his highest accolade, I think, that's good enough to steal. So when he said I'm making a pretty good rum, I was like, oh man, that's a high achievement coming from Ron.
Your gold star.
Yeah,
so
gold
cool.
star from Ron. So they let me keep making rum.
So speaking of rum, what do we got here in front of us?
Right. So I decided, since you're here now, as I mentioned before, Distillery Reserves are very, very small batch. We're not at my house where I have a ready supply of them.
Right.
And so I dug into what I have left in my lab of some of these. So we're going to go through a couple of Distillery Reserves that I've done over the years. We're going to start with a couple that are blends, because in the beginning, again, I didn't have age stock. It takes 3 to 5 years, and this building is semi-climate controlled around the Caribbean environment. So closer to 5 years in that 3 to 5 range. So in the beginning, we were doing blends of different rums, because we have 9 different rums in our darks. We have all these rums available to us that I'm able to look and blend with my fresh rum, and then do some barreling with that. So This one is, I'm not going to go into ratios or anything like that, but this one is simply a blend of Venezuelan rum and fresh Key West rum. Okay. This would have been one of our early marks, so it would have been with the seconds reintroduced into both the stripping and refining runs in different ratios. And then we typically, rums are aged first in bourbon barrels because you want the interaction with that carbon layer, right? Right. For a few years, and then you'll put it into as maybe a secondary aging or a finishing. This one was 100% for, I want to say it was 5 years. God, don't quote me on the time frame because this came out last year, and I've slept since then, as Bob would say. It was 4 or 5 years it sat in Armagnac cask. And it was interesting because this one at first we were like, well, yeah, it's okay, and Bob and I always said we're not going to put anything out that's our Distillery Reserves because our signatures are on the side of the bottle, right, unless it's something we're both, as rum geeks, as rum judges, like we're both like, wow, okay, I'm proud to put that out there. Right. And then we had this, what we call a cold spell in Key West, but it caused the barrel to contract, and we came in and it changed like overnight, and I don't know what it squeezed out of that Armagnac barrel, but it literally within, because we sample our barrels periodically, and then for whatever reason we revisited this one 6 months after we sampled it before. Typically we go longer, and it just changed so much, and so I was really, really happy that it turned out. We let it go a couple more years because it still needed some refinement, but so that's what this one is. And this would have been spring 24, maybe before that, I don't remember. Okay, so we do 3 a year, so it's hard to keep track of where they all fall.
So describe to somebody what a Key West cold front is.
I mean, it might have got down in like the low 60s at night or something, if it touched the 50s at all, I would be shocked. Yeah, there you go.
This is where everybody hates. Like, yeah, I'm in Chicago and it's March and ain't 60. I would love to have 60. Yeah, what would I think a guy today that had stopped in a place here in town, the bartender has just moved from Philly, and he was talking about it. He goes, yeah, what's fall like in Key West? I'm like, and I go out. He goes, what's it like there? He goes, I'd be okay with 60s because that's golf weather. I was like, well, you ain't getting 60s for a rare occasion. But yeah, so we do definitely have our
September, October is still like some of our
still
hottest
brutal.
months.
Yeah. So you might not be until really January, February. I know
that's when we get our cool months. Yeah, even December sometimes it starts to cool off. But I've had some warm December series. Yeah, I've been here 11 years almost.
Oh wow, yeah. So it's weird. Yeah, I think it's always for us weather wise. I would tell people it's like I said I've been in Florida over 20 plus years and said. I've been in the beach Christmas Day, Easter, Thanksgiving, and it's just the weather is so
what it is.
It's tough living in paradise, right? That's what they say. So all right, so this is your signature.
This is one of the Distillery Reserves. This one would have been. I don't have. This is literally a lab sample, so I don't even have a label on it. Yeah. So I'm recalling. I believe it was 88 proof.
Okay. Right.
And as I described in the lab, like when we determine our proofs. I usually start at 120 because I really want my rums to stand up to that. Sadly, they just don't always do that. And then I go down to 80, and I let the rum tell me what proof it wants to be at. But just by over a few days, getting the margins and just keep narrowing that proof range down more and more until it sits where it wants. And we're haggling over a proof point, So, cheers. Cheers. And like in that one, I can, because I know what my marks taste like, prior to the barrel. So I can tell like that specific mark and that interesting. It's like a. It sounds weird to say, but it's like a grassy vanilla. Kind of note to it that came from the barrel.
Yeah, it's. Now what was the proof?
This, if I recall properly, this was 88 or 90.
Okay. Yeah.
I've never I would be really upset if one of my runs wanted to be at 80. Like I'd probably put it at 82 just for posterity.
We don't want to be at the low bar of what rum, the minimal proof when it comes to rum, right? Yeah. So yeah, I can smell the wood. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, I mean, the rum that I put in there was already aged. I believe it was. I forget how old that one. Probably like I think around 7 years old, plus unaged rum. So
Yeah. This is what I think.
So some of the rum's only 4 years old.
I think this is the thing, Shawn, is going back to talking about dispelling the myths, rumor, or misinformation or conceptions. Is if you had somebody try this and you didn't tell them what it was, I don't think somebody would say it's rum.
Well, right, and maybe not.
Yeah,
So if somebody's well versed in spirits, maybe they would think it was definitely not a whiskey. There's none of those notes, but I could see somebody think it's a cognac or something.
Because again, you're back to that point. Is most people probably wouldn't have ever had a rum that you could taste wood in it, right? That, or some of those. Yeah, maybe the veg, the grassy, and that tropical, aspect of it, but. Yeah,
well, that's one of the things I love about rum is like you can give a general description of whiskey, of maybe with like you getting into like the regions of Scotland, you got to start breaking it down a little bit more, especially with Islay.
Yeah, right.
But like more or less, like you can generally describe a bourbon, it's your sweet corn, your rye, your lemon pepper. You can generally describe these, but you cannot even on the same island. Say describe rum. Well, I can't. There is no definition that fits all of them.
Right.
And so that's one of the beautiful things about it. And so it doesn't have these guardrails on it where it has to taste like this.
It'd be like exactly like this.
It's
right.
like was it made from molasses or was it made from sugarcane? Not even molasses.
Right.
It was like then
that's it.
Then it's rum.
Yeah. And where
good, bad, or indifferent. But.
Right. Yeah, I think there's recall them talk about how. In Haiti, the island has different characteristics that, like Clarin.
Oh, God, Clarin's one of my favorite things in the world right now. Unaged Clarin. Oh, my God. So in love with that stuff.
But, it can be such different stuff. And
drastically from village to village.
Right, yeah. To talk about, on this side of the island is a little bit of volcanic, earthy, or it's salty. It's almost like, well, this could be very, because of the salt spray and, so it's very tropical and all these things. And it would blow people's minds, again, that are not used to.
Right.
It's like,
not educated on
here,
rum.
try some Haitian rum. And, that ain't rum. Again, it goes back to. But, again, if you want to go down that journey and learn more, that's just, you got to take that step and get into it. And, again, rum nerds, I still have so much to learn. But, talking to folks like you and, learning and all that.
Well, even in, my rum master class, I'll take people, because some people know just enough to be dangerous.
Right, yeah.
Or just enough to think they know what they're talking about. And so
that's the motto of my life, actually.
They'll have these encapsulations of if it's from sugarcane juice, it's an agricole. It's like, well, that's way factually incorrect. Let's talk about barbancourt. Let's talk about cachaça. And there's plenty of rums out there that are cane juice based rums that are not. So these are the things I like to educate people on. And then the different. And talking about terroir and things with the soil, it's one of the things I'm a wine guy too. I love wine, and I'm not good enough at wine to do the whole this bank, left bank, right bank, all that stuff. But it's the same stuff, when you're talking about agricole, especially the unaged, because it doesn't go through the sugar making process. That's why I like them, because you can tell the differences,
right?
And the soil types and all this stuff. So,
well, it's like Mexican rum, Rapain and same thing. People said, try this. Say, let's taste like tequila. Well, it's not.
Yeah.
Was it grown in the same soil that agave may have been grown? Sure. Yeah. So it's kind of it's a mind thing for people, right?
Yeah.
And they've only been this one thing is this. Now, like you said, there's only certain spirits that have very hard, fast distinctions, rules, I guess, if you want to call it, whether it's Scotch or bourbon,
agave spirits.
or agave, or champagne. Some things that I got. So that's and that leads into the where I'm going with that is like the significance in the islands about the GI, right? The geographic indices.
Man, that's a hot topic. Hot topic.
I know, right? So that's only in I guess Barbados and that. I mean, I get it.
Jamaica too. They're having that GI.
I think it's important. Okay.
I think it's important.
Yeah. Here in the U.S., nobody's really fighting over that. That distinction because it's not.
But I'll admit, I get. I'm not going to even say which states. I don't want to upset anybody, but like, I've seen American agricoles, and they'll call it an agricole, and I'm sorry, that bothers me. It's like it's not an agricole. You didn't follow the exact, through the AOC. You did not follow that. Right. You didn't follow those rules, and you're not on a French island. You're not in a French anything. This is the United States. You made a cane juice based rum, and some of them are very nice, but it's not an agricole. And I don't know if that's ignorance by people or they just don't care, but it's not. I mean, I think it's only recently that cachaça has been identified as its own as a rum, but the GI has been protected in the United States. I think I could be wrong on that. But.
Yeah, I guess that's an interesting thing because I think most folks maybe if they're going to call an agricole is you're trying to associate, maybe some is at an association to get credibility or to kind of elevate its
to sound fancier than you are.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. So, but so I know here. So we're hanging out here in the social club, right? And
got a great bar behind you guys.
Yeah, you can't see this. Well, maybe we'll show you later. We'll do maybe an overlay graphic, maybe. Great, yeah. So I was here last night, and a lot of great cocktails that we're sitting there having. And when did the social club open up?
I want to say we opened our doors 3 years ago.
Okay.
So this was, believe it or not, we use this as my storage facility. And our CEO Steve would be like, "Well, this is one of the most expensive storage facilities in Key West." It probably wasn't wrong, but I kept all my dry goods here, my bottles and labels and things like that. But so we decided that we wanted to build this out. We modeled it after sort of like Key West meets Havana, 1930s when Ernest would have been in either one of those places. Right. Brought in really talented designers, and then Trisha's husband Rick, he was involved in a lot of that and the designing, and Trisha and all of us. I mean, a lot of times standing in this room just kind of going, okay, how are we gonna, and just watching it all come to life into what it is now. And initially it was supposed to be just it was just going to be for events, like corporate events, and then State Bill 46 passed I don't know, 4 years ago or something, that allowed us to. Because before that, in Florida, like unlike breweries, we couldn't serve our own product here. We didn't, because we don't have a liquor license. We were a distillery, so we don't have it, so we could sell. So State Bill 46 passed, craft distillers law, and since we fall underneath that as a craft distillery, we're able to now sell our own alcohol. So then we're like, oh, we just happen to be building a bar for corporate events, and now we can open it up as a regular bar. So we rebranded Hemingway Social Club, and here we are.
Pretty good, yeah. So.
And we have all of our craft cocktails here, I mean, all of our cocktails are, fresh pressed juices, make our own syrups. We don't cut any corners with it. And a lot of them are cocktails that, like Hurricane Helen and our rest of our great bar staff will come up with these cocktails. So a lot of them are unique to here.
Right. I noticed too, you also there's a locker system you have here too.
Yeah, it's like a subscription service, so you can rent the locker essentially.
Okay.
And that was just an idea we had years ago when we were still concepting this place, and it took off. People buy it. I don't handle that part of it, so I don't recall the price offhand. But you rent the locker, you come in, you can buy bottles, you can call and purchase a bottle, we'll stick it in your locker, and then when you come in or you send a friend in, we give you the key to the locker, and then you open it up and we'll make you a cocktail with it.
Oh.
We're actually getting ready to build some more over there, because that is, we have a waiting list, so we're going to have to build another set.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Not a bad problem to have.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah. Just we'll hold on to your booze and just
right. Like if somebody they come down here and we have a lot of snowbirds here, a lot of seasonal residents.
Okay. Yeah.
And so they'll come in and they'll buy, our Distillery Reserves, which are a little bit more expensive. They'll buy that and they'll put it in their locker because by the time they get back down here, it might not be here, might be gone.
Right.
Because once it's gone, it's gone. So that's why I've got these little flasks. Is all I have left. So.
So very cool. Yeah, I definitely dig the layout. Does give a feel that Hemingway would definitely hang out probably in a definitely.
Yeah, and then we have music. We try to have music twice a week, and it's different than the stuff you're going to see on Duval Street.
Right.
You better not hear a wagon wheel in here. Something like that. We try to stick with that's
a $100 tip or
$100. Yeah, there's a couple zeros comes with that one. Yeah.
Wagon wheel. Yeah.
If it gets requested, it's a guest. You play what they want, but so we'll have like really quality. I'm pretty tied in with the music community here, and so get the really kind of top notch musicians in here. They're doing like jazz primarily and blues, but we've been rolling and it's been working really well. Experimenting with getting some singer-songwriters in here and more folky styles, and it fits,
Yeah.
So we're going to be rolling more with that down the road. So
I think that'd be a pretty cool concept. There's a place up by us in Palm Beach. They started to do a little bit of a singer-songwriter kind of. It's almost like the Bluebird in Nashville. We were talking about Nashville earlier today, right? Is in the round.
Yeah, to make it over to Bluebird.
Yeah. Or blue. Yeah, blue. What did I say?
Blue something. Bluebird.
Yeah, but I was close. You knew what I was talking about. Yeah, I was close.
I'm not sure that I do, but I didn't make it to it.
It's the rum talking. But yeah, I think that's pretty. It would be a pretty cool vibe, and again to continue the music and growth, and it's it's great to. Because there's a lot that goes into it. These two things go hand in hand. Obviously, talking about obviously drums and rums. It's music and booze, right? So there's that aspect of it. So, so I understand also you do other creative outlets as well. I know we learned that you have a music outlet as well,
right? Yeah,
and
play a little music.
So we'll be soon seeing Shaun and the Destroyers on Duval here soon. Rocking.
Yeah, never on Duval. Never on Duval. Yeah, we might. A couple guys I play music with that we've been talking about tightening up. Our little jam sessions we do in my living room and maybe playing. Yeah, a little bit around town. But
hell, maybe there might be a jam session tonight.
Maybe as I go back get my guitar, get my mandolin.
That's right. Yeah, there might be one tonight here. So. But you also started writing. You're an author as well.
An author, yeah. As of July 31st, officially an author.
Well,
it's exciting. Yeah, it was an interesting journey on that one.
Yeah.
It took me 10 years because I would write and put it down for 2, and then pick it up for a month and then put it down for 6 months. So I probably got a solid year of really good writing time on the book. But yeah, it just came out July 31st. It did, I don't know how to tell if it's doing well or not. I've sold about 100 books, but which is pretty good for just launching July 31st. But a good friend of mine, John Cunningham, he's an author. He has the Buck Riley series, and he's like 13 books into his. And I've been working on this thing for so long, and he's read that book so many times, helping me out with it. It's nothing like how it started because I did Stream of Consciousness. And then sent it to my editor, and she very, very nicely complimented me and then tore it apart. And so I had to go back to the drawing board and go back and re-outline it. And so I made a lot of mistakes in the beginning, but I think it's what you do in your first round, right?
Right, yeah.
But John kept pushing me, and finally I decided, I'm like, all right, we were at one of his book releases, and he's like, if you're not standing next to me, I forget exactly what he said, but he's basically like, you need to be standing next to me the next time I do a book signing with your book. So I finally got it over to finish line, and it's out. And yeah, I'm getting great feedback. Nikki, who works here, is 6 chapters in, said it's good. A friend of mine finished it on a beach in Aruba and said he loved it, and we're getting good reviews on Amazon. So
what's the title?
The title is Coral Bay. I should probably mention that. Yeah. It's my first book, so I'm not good at this yet. Yeah, and my name is Shawn Martin, but my author name is Shawn Michael Dean. I have 4 names. I had to drop one of them. I can't have 4 names.
Are you hiding from somebody?
Not hiding from anybody. Shut up, man.
Shut up. Nobody's watching this podcast. You'll be fine.
No. I dropped one of the names. And those are the names that were most important to me. So.
Okay. So what gave you that inspiration though? I mean, was it from your friend that
To write a book?
Yeah, to write a book. Yeah.
So I'm gonna condense this story.
Okay.
I told you before about Carl and I owned Conquer Public Bikinis, and then
Yeah.
we had Coastlines and Tan Lines.
Right. Okay.
Coastlines and Tan Lines was a blog lifestyle company to support the bikini company. So I was concepting this idea of something to write about. So I came up with this idea of this character, Michael Bennett, who is Michael is just somebody I made up, but his name is my middle name, my grandfather's middle name.
Okay.
And I'm going to use this character as a serialized character in a blog. It's just going to every month I'm going to put out another portion of this forever running story.
Right.
And I think I wrote enough to cover, because I wanted to have a good backlog so I didn't have to, I could just write at my pace. So I did about 6 months worth of writing.
Okay.
And then it just sat. We shut the company down when I moved to Key West, and is everything all right?
So.
All right. You kept glancing at me.
Yeah.
Are we good?
Are we getting kicked out of your own place?
Oh, no.
Okay, yeah.
Technical issues or anything, but no. So I did about 6 months worth of writing. I sent it to some friends. They all loved it, and then I moved to Key West. I wasn't in grad school anymore, behind a computer all the time. So we shut the businesses down, and then that kind of died for a while.
Right. Okay.
And that's where I count this beginning of the writing. So when I say 10 years, it sat dormant for 3. And then meeting John was an inspiration to do something with it. So I pushed it together into a very loose format of a beginning of a book, an idea of a book, shadow puppets, whiteboard stuff. Sent it out to a bunch of friends and got good feedback. My buddy Charles Kaufman, who I said this in a blog post I put on my website. I want to remember him threatening me if I didn't do it. Like, if you don't do this, I'm going to come get you, kind of thing. He was very...
that's motivation.
So
that's a motivation.
Right? His nickname was Big Kahuna, so he's actually a main character in my book. I had to. He passed away in 2017, so it was great to do that. But that's where it started.
Okay.
And then I just kept working on it, again with friends' support and urging me to do it and continuing to talk about it, and then just finally just decided to, let's actually get this done. And as I dug into it, because I've always written songs, poems, things like that, I've never written a story before, and as I dug into it more, I found the joy in writing. And so
right.
Already, like I said this morning, I went for a long walk to start getting the second book idea rolling around in my head.
Yeah. It's the creative aspect, right? It's like, you've got a couple different things, and you go a little here, and it helps that you're not being becomes stale or burnt out on one thing. It's kind of good to have a couple different things to outlet too, whether it's the music, right?
Yeah.
Or I'm going to write, and it's different mediums that you're trying to kind of get out, right? So you're not just one aspect of it. So
yeah, and I'm working on writing. I'm a lyricist. I'm not a songwriter. I don't know music theory. So
Are you a joker, smoker, or a midnight toker?
All three, man. Depends on the day. Sometimes all three at once. Yeah, but I'm trying to work on like an album, sort of like a autobiographical sort of thing too.
Okay.
I really, really enjoy writing. So, but yeah, so that's where the idea from the book came from.
Yeah. Okay.
You just already had the material. I just went out and roll with it. But I can't describe to you how different the book is. Like it's weird. It's night and day. Not even the same storyline anymore. It's just the names are the same, but everything else is different. Yeah.
Okay.
So it was a learning process.
That's
for sure.
it. Is there like so the same characters will continue through in different stories or storylines, or what do you think?
Michael Bennett will, as he's the protagonist, so he has to be there. It's called the Michael Bennett series. Can't kill him off.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And Kahuna, I thought about that when I put him in there. I'm like, I can't, because Big Kahuna passed away, so I can't kill him off in the book.
Yeah.
So if I ever just, obviously, and I wouldn't. So it's for the foreseeable future, Big Kahuna will be in there too, but everybody else is going to come and go.
Well, yeah, it's like trying to follow a Game of Thrones. When they did you read those books or watch the show, even it was like, well, who is this guy showing up in season 4? It's like, oh yeah, that was the guy in episode 2 of season 1, and you're like, I totally forgot about that guy,
Right.
and now he's this person or whatever.
Well, I keep dossiers essentially on all my characters.
Oh.
And so I have a file in Dropbox that I use, and it's so that way if I want to go back,
Yeah,
and it's really detailed descriptions of who they are, what happened, so I can, because I'm going to forget eventually
right.
what Sarah's personality was,
Yeah.
So I can come back to this dossier.
Keep the
and be like,
continuity.
I'm going to put her back
Yeah,
in the book
right.
and make it make sense, so she's
Yeah.
not a whole different person.
Oh,
Right?
okay. Sounds very George Lucas-like. How he controlled the Star Wars storyline and everything. They wouldn't let anybody who wrote side stories.
Right.
Now, my understanding, I'm not really a Star Wars guy, but my understanding is that sound about right? So, you follow any of the Star Wars stuff? Okay, so
Yeah, we're all terrible nerds.
I know,
We're all nerds, and like
we
don't
know
watch
enough.
Star
We know
Wars.
enough. We know enough to be good bullshitters. I think And but my understanding was there was always these side stories that people wrote, but it still had to make sure it stayed within the Star Wars time. Like you couldn't kill off Luke Skywalker this point because it would throw off and doesn't make sense, right? So yeah, but
that kind of thing.
I got it. Yeah, I got it. So yeah, but very cool. So, this is a really great. I think it's like these kinds of things, these special releases, to get the opportunity to, like you said, do a little bit of something different and.
Well, it gives me an opportunity to do rum how I would want to do rum,
right?
And that's and just be creative with it, and like I said before, I'm a rum geek that somebody gave a distillery to and said, do this,
right?
And we're not going to give you, we'll give guidance if you want it, but just do this. And so it's been really, really, it's a fun job. So it's a weird job in some way, but
right, like how did I end up here?
I have literally asked myself that so many times. Like, how did I end up? Like, I was supposed to be like I studied pelagic fish. Like, I would do growth and age and growth studies and tagging fish. I'd be in a lab cutting open fish at 3 a.m. at a full-time job.
Right.
Now I'm doing this. It's really cool.
So with your background as a biologist, then, right, is it very much lines up with what you do in your job here?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it does. Understanding, really understanding fermentation,
right?
And I also have a background in physics and chemistry, so being able to look at the still, when we were learning how to run the still, I have Ron, but Ron's mainly a column still guy in whiskey, so he knows pot stills. He's been around them, but he, as far as do this and do this, was we got some general guidance. That's about it. Right. And then so Bahama Bob was a NASCAR engineer, built chassis and brake systems and things. So he's incredibly intelligent. So he and I just, I would joke and say we just scienced the hell out of that thing, and we had spreadsheets and charts and graphs, and we every metric we could think to measure that. And now looking at it, it's like we didn't need to measure that. That was stupid. It wasn't stupid. It was just we didn't know, so we just measured everything.
Yeah, you kept
and graphed it, and we just eventually figured out what we were aiming for. So it was kind of OJT.
Yeah,
keep
track. Just again, nerds tracking data, right?
That's right. And I'm kind of a data whore, so I think I'm all about it. It's I get to crunch some stats. Yeah, let's do a detail analysis on that.
We're doing science stuff and having fun and so.
Yeah, but we're at the same time we're making rum, and it's I still have some of the somewhere in my lab. I've got a bottle of the first distillate that came off the still, and no, it's not good. It's not good because we pulled hearts out of a stripping run because we didn't know any better, and it was that doesn't taste very good at all. It's but it's there and it's interesting.
Yeah.
One day I'll run it through a GC just to see what our fermentation was like too. But
let me ask you then. This is an interesting question. Is so the show Master Distillers, right?
I actually do not watch TV, so no.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Good. So this
is cable. In
this will be a little. This will be a little fun then. Good for you, actually. That's good. Trust me, it's cable's not worth that. I think the money anymore. But yeah, so there's a show on Discovery Channel or History Channel. I don't know, whichever one.
It's on a channel. On the tube.
Yeah, and where they pit home distillers against each other, and it's obviously taped over multiple days, but they've got to basically on the spot produce a product. It's judged by professional, distillers, and there's usually ones that may be very hobbyist, and then there's usually another one that's maybe does it for a real job,
right,
and so forth. So I was just curious. Is even with all that being said, is some folks that I've talked to who have their own distillery and that's what they do, is very conscious or not comfortable with the term master distiller. It's maybe there's a mind thing. It's like, if you're a master distiller, you're this guy who's probably like 80 years old, has been doing it since he was 2, and you've done all these things. I mean, it's like, it's a nuance, right?
Right. To me, the term master distiller simply means you're the lead distiller for a company.
Okay.
To say, I think I'm always aware that, like, the more I learn, the more I understand. The more I learn, the more I understand how much I don't know.
Right.
Right. So, like, to say you're a master at something means you know everything, which is egotistical. It's like,
right, yeah.
No, you're not.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
You still have things to learn. Right.
Right.
So I think if somebody's calling themselves a master distiller outside of this is just my title at this company, but if they're saying I'm a master at distilling, it's like, well, are you? Like, you're good at it, maybe fantastic at it, but are you a master at it?
Right. It's almost like a term that should be bestowed not onto yourself but for others to bestow onto you. It's like peer recognition, more than a self-recognition, right? Calling yourself a
Yeah, because I'm far from that, but I've had people misuse that term, and I'll immediately correct them. Like, no,
right?
I'm a distiller. Yeah. Like, I'm a kind of a new distiller in the grand scheme of things. Like,
right? Yeah.
I don't get into the whole ego. Title.
Right.
Like, I'm a master of this. Like, shut up.
Yeah.
Like, no, you're
right.
not.
Like Dr. Joyce meant, right? And she's been doing it for ever, and a lot of others and so forth. So
I would call her a master distiller, and she's a lovely woman, and she makes fantastic rum, and she's somebody I look up to in the distillation world. But I don't know her personally. I've met her before, obviously. Like, I don't know her personally to know if she considers herself a master distiller, what her thoughts on that are. It'd be interesting to know. Let's give her a call.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, Joy.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think, again, I think most people would agree with, like, maybe putting her, if decision doesn't go by there, does, but it would see that it would be appropriate, with her background, experience, etc.
But she is the master distiller for that company.
Right.
But does she consider herself a master distiller?
I think you would consider
himself a master
distiller.
But
I guess it's like you would consider her that, even though if her title in the company isn't that, which I don't know what her.
A lot of times
she's
a
up
lead
there.
distiller, head distiller,
so
rum maker, lead cook and bottle washer.
So if you have a head distiller, is there's a hearts distiller and a tails, or this is where you're starting off. You're
going to do just the heads,
You're the hearts distiller. You're getting there, and then
it's like a martial arts ranking system, right?
So speaking of drinking, so you said you got some other stuff here.
More,
okay, let's
This one's a blend.
Okay.
These two are not. So we're gonna do the last blend, and then we'll roll into just the Key West stuff. Yeah. So I do that when I go to the rum festivals. I'll have my tasting glass and I'll rinse it out, but then I'll drink it. A, I'm not wasting any rum, and B, it's making sure to hydrate, which I forget to do sometimes.
That's right. Well, there's water in rum.
Yeah.
Right. So it's still.
Yeah. So this one is a blend. This one's a blend of Venezuela, Barbados, and Key West fresh rum.
Oh, okay.
That spent 20 months. If it was 20 months, it would have been. So remember, I told you we had our first iteration of the Distillery Reserves had. We used fresh, like virgin barrels, heavy toasted, not charred, 36 month dried staves. So this 20 months, this would have been their third or fourth use.
Okay.
on those barrels.
Okay. So. Yeah, so it's a good crowd that streams in and out here, throughout the day.
Oh,
right?
it changes, yeah. It'll go from, and this one's 88 proof.
Okay.
44%. Yeah, it'll go from, I'll walk out here and our bartender's staring at themselves and our musician is playing to an empty room, and then I'll come in 5 minutes later, and the bartender's like in the weeds.
It's slammed.
It's slammed. It's Key West, man. It's
So
yeah, this one very, very good. I love what those Kelvin Cooperage barrels did.
yeah, and a friend of mine, he's owns a company, the distillery up in North Carolina, and he was very much into wine, became a sommelier. Yeah, not a Somalian, a sommelier.
Sommelier.
Yeah, sommelier. And he was just talking about, it's like just not even drinking the wine, but just walking around, just taking in, everything that gives.
I tell people, like, if you hand me a spirit or a wine and I really like it, I'm probably going to sit and I'm just going to sit and smell it for a long time before I ever really get into tasting it, because I love the nose on a good rum or a good spirit or wine. So completely different from what we just had.
Oh yeah.
This is just the heavy toasted barrels. Doesn't have like the Armagnac or anything, and the ratios are a lot different too. 3 different rums in this one.
Now the difference in this, from the first one is I don't get the wood like I did in the first one.
Those Armagnac barrels gave a lot of woodiness to it. Yeah. That was one thing that I like that, so I was happy with that.
Right.
But also so I don't know if you notice a difference in the mouthfeel. This is a little drier.
Yeah.
This mark, we didn't. The seconds were only in one or the other. And again, I'm not going to say which one, but one or the other. They weren't in both stripping and refining. It was one or the other. And then the ratios were less on this mark. So it still has a little nice viscosity.
Yeah.
It sticks to the palate as much as still sticks to the palate, just not as much as with the other one, where it was a high dosage of the seconds in both stripping and refining. So it's a good. I chose this one because it's a good example to show you like really what just that one lever can do.
Right. Right. Yeah. And do you get? Have you tried? How much of a difference does, if you're adding this, and I know this is can be a very controversial topic as well, as neat or with some ice, right? Or on a ball, right? A rock cube, right? Is how much does it, do you notice how much of it, is there any difference?
It stands up to a cube if you do a whiskey cube. I prefer my spirits neat. I'll have a little bit of, like at home, I've got this little eyedropper, kind of like
just a little bit of
thing that I'll and it's distilled water, and just sometimes a couple drops opens it up. Water is rum's best friend. So
it's weird. Now I do taste a little bit of,
you're always going to get it. If it's been in wood, you should taste. You should be able to tell it's been in a barrel,
but
right?
Now, but I didn't get it in the first time. So,
like if I taste something that somebody says is aged, and I'm like, I don't get a hint of anything of a barrel in this at all, I'm suspect. So you definitely get it's just not as forward as it was in the other one. The other one's like vanilla and oak sort of jumps out at you. This one not as much with the oak.
So it's interesting there. So,
but with our rums tend to get a lot of we get baking spices a lot. We get orange rind, dried orange peel. There's no peach in this one. Some of our rums that are coming out now have this peachy note to it.
Oh, so. That's interesting.
Yeah, you'll taste it when we taste the refined seconds.
Okay,
it's peach, like right in the face. It's great.
Peachy keen.
Peachy keen, yeah.
So, well, cool. This has definitely been neat. talking through, what you probably wouldn't know or get unless you came to the distillery. What we're talking about here today and what we're tasting and so forth, right? So, and some of the cool things. I think it's, maybe a lot of folks that come in here, maybe they're locals, right?
Yeah, we get a lot of locals in here.
Or the cruise ships here, and then everyone does their jump off the ship and to do their run around Key West while they're in port and so forth. So
so it's definitely it's becoming. We kind of want this to be one of those places that when you come to Key West, you're like, you've got to go to this distillery.
Yeah, it's like a hop. Yeah.
I mean, you get to come in, you do a tour, you learn about rum history. We didn't do that part of it, but we talk about Paul Revere. We talk about the Navy and rum. We talk about a shot for a shot. And, if I give a tour, which I don't do very often, I give some information that a historian gave me one time that I find interesting. And so we educate them on that. Then, of course, we talk about, Ernest and his legacy and how that all ties in, because the name of the company, Pilar, that comes from his boat. His boat was called the Pilar. And also the pet name for, I believe, Pauline is, I think his third wife, is where we get the name. So Papa's Pilar is where we get the name from. And then we educate people on rum, starting with what is rum.
Yeah,
and then kind of what is rum not, and dispel some myths, and and then taste them on rum, and then they get to come into this beautiful social club and have a cocktail made with our rum. So
very cool. It's a very cool. It's not I was thinking. It's not necessarily speakeasy feel. Well, it's a little bit of a speakeasy feel maybe, but obviously it's not a speakeasy.
Right. Yeah. We were originally going to go with a speakeasy vibe and be a little. We've got awnings and stuff outside, but I mean the goal of a speakeasy is not to be found.
Yeah, right. And nobody knows. Yeah.
So that's
it's only
probably bad.
If you know. Yeah.
I mean, unless that's. I mean, but I've seen some really cool ones, like in what was it called, the Safe House in Milwaukee, I think it's called. And I've seen some really really cool speakeasy bars that work, but they've been there for decades. People. They're not a secret anymore,
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
There's one in Austin is really cool, cocktail bar, but you can find them online too.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, that was like trying to find some of these tiki bars that are like inside a bar, the bar within the bar kind of thing.
I went to like a random thought when you said that. I was in Wisconsin and Milwaukee years ago. Well over a decade ago. It was before I moved to Key West, and it was January, which is a great time to be visiting Milwaukee.
Yeah.
It's 5 feet of snow or whatever outside, and walking around, and my girlfriend Elena and I were walking around, and I just have this feel, I just want to go this way. I just want to go this way, and then came across this tiki bar called the Foundation. And I think it was called the Foundation. So if anybody's listening, it's wrong. I'm sorry, but I think it was called the Foundation. And it's like literally just like you're in a neighborhood, if I remember correctly. You're in a neighborhood, and there's all of a sudden there's this door and this, illuminated sign in the window, and she's like, "How only you in the January are going to sniff out a tiki bar?" And went in, and they were all getting ready for this this festival that happens up in Lauderdale at the God, I haven't been up there in so long. I don't know if Mai Kai's still there or not.
Oh yeah, it's open back up.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think it's called Hukalau.
Yes.
And they were like getting ready to go to Hukalau, and I came in. I'm like, this place reminds me of Mai Kai.
Right.
And they went and got the owner, and because that's what he designed it after, and he was so excited that randomly I come in and I'm like, this reminds me of.
Oh, look, somebody who knows what it is.
Yeah, so I was very excited about that.
I'm from Florida, so.
Well, and I used to live on Bayview Drive, which is right off of Oakland Park, and I could ride my bike to that place from where I used to live in Lauderdale. So he was very stoked. So that's my random tiki bar story.
That's small, right? Yeah, but I guess it goes to show you, right? Is how I haven't been to the Mai Kai yet either, and that's another one though. We were talking about rum, and the association of rum and things, right? Pirates or the tiki is don't know, say tiki culture and what some of the stuff tiki today is. What tiki, it's
what tiki is here and what tiki is in the UK.
Well, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I still haven't been to London. My friends Jazz and Indy, they live over there, and they come over sometimes for these rum festivals, and they've talked about the tiki scene over there, and it's more like a nightclub scene, from what I understand. I haven't been. Like, whereas tiki here is much different, so it's like tiki has its different faces, I suppose.
Yeah. There's the actual Polynesian tiki culture, and there's some. I remember talking to somebody about how there was cautiousness of appropriating tiki,
and there's still arguments about that now.
Yeah, right.
About cultural appropriation and Polynesian culture and the tiki scene.
Right.
So. But it all started with Don the Beachcomber and Trader Vic and that's what I love about that Mai Kai place is like it's like we're doing a plug for Mai Kai right now, but this is not a paid advertisement.
Could be a sponsor. That'd be cool. That'd be really cool. Right? Like I said, I haven't been yet, and we were just talking about a bunch of friends of ours that I was like, hey, what do we want to do? I said, here's a place I'd love to go see. I said, and everyone's like, yeah, I'd like to go there. I've been wanting to go there. I go, well, it's open. I said I'd be dying to go. Again to go check it out and be kind of I said I don't see myself immersed. I'm not in tiki culture. Sometimes, that's the other thing too, right, Shawn, is even the festivals. I don't get so much caught up into wanting to drink everything in sight at a rum festival.
Right.
It's just like the rum friends I've made along the way, right? Seeing this person or seeing this person or that person and just getting a chance to meet up and, and hang out with everybody. That to me is probably more about going to those events, so I said I always say
for me now.
It's like, did I drink? Did I get my alcohol's worth in this trip? And it's like, no. And
definitely made my mistakes in the beginning going to those things. Like, I'm going to pay X and then just drink as much as I want.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but it wasn't like about like how drunk can we get? It was just about I want to try all of this stuff. So now I go around. It's like, if I've had it, I'm probably not going to revisit. I want to hit all the new stuff first and see what's interesting.
Right.
And be able to function that night and go out and.
Because there's a lot more continued after leaving the convention center
you make
or wherever
your rookie mistakes.
Yeah.
Everybody has.
Oh yeah, for sure. You hydrate, Yeah. But yeah, going back to the tiki stuff in the Mai Kai, and they did announce at the Rum Congress earlier this year in Miami. They had their own special Mai Kai rum, that they only have available at the Mai Kai, right? So,
cool.
So I guess it was like
gotta go check it out.
Yeah, I guess it was like a formulation of, everyone's trying to recreate the tiki, the rum or the drinks that was down the Beachcomber further back, where it all started, right?
Right.
So. All right, so what did we...
So this one is actually... This would be our first Distillery Reserve that we put out that was 100% Key West distillate. So this one went through... Remember I was talking about the Solaris system we use for our flagships. Bob and I, when we're pulling those out, we always just say, let's taste this. So we tasted some from our dark and our blonde Oloroso sherry barrels. And we realized it was really, really tasty. Like, because we were using it by itself, it was good.
Right.
Without being blended with anything. So we took it and pulled it out of 50. We pulled half of each barrel out, and then it was really, really good. 100% Key West distillate. So it's all of it seen bourbon, port, and sherry.
Okay.
Barrels for long periods of time. It sits in there for a while.
Right.
And then here in Key West anyway. But it needed something. It needed a polish, and so we decided to put it to a Madeira cask for 2 years. So it's all those barrels in a Solaris system, then a Madeira cask for 2 years, and we pulled it almost exactly at 2 years. This one's at 88. It's where the rum wanted to be. We don't do this on purpose, I swear to God. The first one we did was 95 proof. And so that's what this is. And we were happy to put this out because it's the first one that we were able to do, again, that It's like there's every drop of this came into the building as molasses.
Right.
And this is 100% molasses, barrels, and water. That's it.
Okay, that's pretty good. So
Cheers. Way different than everything you just tasted. The Madeira casted. Actually, a lot of that isn't Madeira cast. That's that that heavy, like dark fruit grape, kind of chocolatey notes. That's a Madeira cast. But to me, because I'm so familiar with it, that Oloroso sherry barrel really shines through in it.
yeah, that is so much different.
Yeah.
And it's very. I didn't get the dry, like the last one we did.
A little drier, yeah.
Right. And this felt very, I don't know if velvety is right word.
I would, smooth.
Yeah.
Silky.
It was very, silky smooth.
I would, silky smooth. Yeah, I would, I mean, it was interesting too is, when we need to recharge our Solera system, whatever distillate we're making, whatever mark we're making is what we put in there. So this is a blend of every single mark that we have.
Okay.
Well, not the last two because we pulled this before that, but so up to number 4 or 5 that we have, all blended together goes through those barrels. So it's just this really special, unique. Like this one, there's no way to replicate this.
Yeah, it's
I made sure to have a couple bottles of this because it was so good. I'm like, because once it's gone, and I'm not a hoarder or collector of rum. I buy rum to drink it, or I drink the rum that I make. So it's like I'm gonna go through it eventually, and it's gotta take notes. Yeah, we were really happy with that.
Yeah, that's really good.
Thank you.
So
yeah, you let the glass sit, and you can.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's sometimes like at night I'll just leave the glass out and not wash it. And next morning, and still get up there and go. Just get.
I'll do that when I'm really digging into a rum. Besides, like proofing it down real far to get past the alcohol to see if there's any imperfections or something. If I'm really looking for notes, like subtle notes that I can't get, I'll really coat the glass and let it drip a little bit. Then I'll just set it, and I'll come back like in an hour, and all or most of the alcohol is gone, and you pick up some notes you wouldn't have got otherwise.
Right. So very cool. So yeah. This has been pretty cool. I again appreciate the hospitality, the invite down here. To get a chance to sit down and talk a little bit more about some of the stuff you're working on here, some of your other projects, other creative projects. The distillery, getting a little bit more conversation about some of the what's going on here, and this has been
we've got
cool.
a lot of good stuff, in the research and development folder. So there'll be more stuff. Like I said, every quarter, a new Distillery Reserve. We've got other stuff that coming up that we'll see when it comes out and what it is. But it's going to be exciting no matter what it is.
Cool. So what do you want? Like I guess you just call it like the shameless plug stuff, right? What do you want? Folks listening and watching to check out or go do, or what do you? Here's your shameless plug. Go buy your book, all this stuff.
Definitely go buy my book. Coral Bay. The easiest way to find it is just to search for Shawn Dean, ShawnDean. Pops up.
Amazon? Is that on Amazon?
Yeah. I have a Kindle and paperback.
Okay.
If you read it, love to hear. Follow me on social media, Shawn Michael Dean. Social media for Facebook and Instagram. Check out my website. I'll be getting into doing some blogging and vlogging. We were talking about that as I start to build that out. And then leave me a review on Amazon for sure. That goes a long way, so I'd appreciate that. And feel free to shoot me a message with any thoughts as well, on my website or social media. I'm pretty good about responding within a few days.
Yeah.
And as far as the distillery and as far as rum making, I mean, drink more rum, to go out and experience rum, dig into our flagships, know what we've got going there. But then also come here, come to the distillery and check out some of our Distillery Reserve, some of the stuff we've been tasting, some of the stuff that was coming up, and it's different, it's unique, it's awesome. It's I'm excited for the for this one, the last one we're gonna taste. For a lot of the geeks, I know they're gonna, and I've had some of the the Florida Rum Society folks in, and they all loved everything that I showed them, and we've tasted some stuff they didn't have. So just to know that we're doing some really, really great, innovative, pure sort of rum stuff here, and it's exciting. I like to get people down here more to kind of see what we're doing. Yeah, just out of here, what Bahama Bob and I came up with.
It's and just even looking here, I know we can't turn the camera, but obviously you could hear a little bit of background noise, right? We're taping this episode on location, right? That's the whole point of a lot of the shows, is come visit, and it's the volume kind of got up in here a little bit, right? A lot of folks talking, and some folks are playing chess, and some folks are drinking a couple flights over there, and some people up at the bar, and it's a pretty cool place.
Yeah, it's a cool spot. This is the only job I've ever had that, like, this is Saturday. I don't go to work on Saturdays typically, but even on, it's the only job I've ever had where I'll come hang out at work.
Right.
And it's not just, doing this. Yeah, this is fun.
Yeah.
But I'll come in here with friends, and they'll be like, "Wait, that's your job? You want to go to your job?" I'm like, yeah, I work at a really cool freaking place. It's really cool. I think it's ruined me for every other job I'm ever gonna have.
Oh yeah, that's just it, right? You can't go anywhere else now, right? Yeah. This is always. I mean, it's almost like. Is it like people that when you're at a working? I see a lot of people that work at bars and restaurants on their night off. They end up back at the same bar they're hanging out with on their day off or night off, and it's like, what are you doing? Right.
Yeah. I mean,
I like being here, and
I've worked in bars and restaurants, and when I was off work, I did not go hang out. I would go hang out at other bars and restaurants, but not the one I worked at. This one, I'll get off work, I'm done. I'll sit down at the bar, have a cocktail. I'm not rushing to get out the doors. It's a cool place,
Yeah.
And it's a cool company, and everybody that works with us is amazing, and it's like a family kind of unit.
Yeah, that's
in a lot of ways.
Cool.
So it's really, really great place to work.
Very cool. So check out Papa's Pilar Distillery.
Yeah, come check us out. 201 Simonton Street, Key West.
So, right there. So right the corner of Simonton and Green.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So so you can't miss this big brick building. You can't miss.
One of the oldest buildings in Key West. One of the few to survive the Great Fire. I don't remember what year that was in. Started with a coffee maker in Duval Street, and that's the reason all the buildings have metal roofs now, because the fire was so easily able to jump from building to building.
Oh, okay.
And that's I'm not sure how much it's mandated anymore, but it was you had to have metal roofs.
So a lot of history here, and so Rums played a lot of part of it. So in the whole history too. So
rinse the glasses out here.
Yeah. So all right. So.
Man, this has been fun. Appreciate you doing this.
Yeah. So for sure. So
it's too bad you can't make the Rum Festival. It's going to be.
I know.
Pretty epic.
Just fortunate to tell, but I know. I need to try to see if I can track down Neil before I head back up north.
I'll text him. See if he'll come out and have a rum with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be a blur of a week. I go through all of that. I've got bottling. I've got all sorts of business work stuff to do.
Right.
And then all these, I call it fundatory. All these these things I need to do and I'm happy to do them. I love it. I love it. All this stuff for the Rum Festival. And then Sunday it ends with Bahama Bob doing a rum brunch at Hot Tin Roof, which is all sold out. It's an agricole brunch, so I'm super stoked on that.
Oh, okay.
And then I get on a bus to Miami the next day. I'm on a flight to Costa Rica for 10 days.
Nice.
So it's going to be, by the time I get to my hostel in Costa Rica, it's going to be like, all right, now I can take a breath and relax and eat some fruit, do some yoga, and
well, after we're done taping, we'll definitely have to hook up. I know our my borrowed sound camera guy for the trip here, Rich. Definitely, we'll have to find him some good cigars. He's a cigar guy, so
we'll go to Rodriguez Cigars.
So there you go.
Yeah, Dan. I don't know if Danny be there today or not, or if they're even open anymore. But Rodriguez Cigars would be the spot to go for cigars. Yeah.
So all right. So
cheers. So this 122 proof. Woo. Like I pulled it out of the barrel, did a polish filter on it, added no water to it. This is the redistilled. So it's the seconds, ran back through the still once, and then put it into bourbon barrels, once used bourbon barrels for 4 years. This is the one that I'm like, it's number 10 in the series. This is the one that I'm super excited about. I cannot wait. I'm going to put some out at 100 proof down the road. It was 122 might scare some folks off, but we're gonna do 100 proof. I'm just trying to see what this guy's doing. Like he's like,
it's in a magic.
Oh,
trick?
it's Brian. Okay, never mind. I know him. So as a random person, I'm like, that's where I keep the soundboard for the stage. I'm like, what is he doing?
I think he was gonna climb inside that chest over
he's
there.
a musician. He's gonna be playing here. So just seeing what kind of board we have. Like I'm filming, I can't really go yell at somebody right now. What are you doing?
So I don't. Yeah. So it's 122.
122. I didn't think they were going to let me put out a barrel proof. So what I did was I poured some into the glass, and I went around and I tasted everybody on. I said, "Look, this is higher proof, so tread lightly. Right. You just want a few mils on the tongue, but tell me what you think." And everybody loved it. And then I told them what the proof was, and then I'm like, "That's what I want to put it out at." But because they already tasted it and liked it and said how good it was, they're like, "Well, yeah, do that."
Right. Yeah.
So I did. If I started off with 122, I might have got shut down on that one.
But I like on the nose. I don't. There's nothing that's just punching.
It's soft. All of our rums are very, very soft, delicate. So. Pretty, as Andy says, our sommelier.
That's not a 122.
I'll go drop a hydrometer in it. Yeah, it is. Every bit of it.
Let's see of our off-camera.
It's good, right? I mean, usually I'm more like when somebody gives me a compliment, I'm a humble person, but this one I'm like, I'm proud of this one.
Yeah.
This one's fucking good.
Yeah.
A light floral. Yeah. Yeah, this was an experiment. We laid down 6 barrels in 2 lots, and I took one of these out to finish in a different barrel.
Right.
I had an empty barrel. So let's try finishing this one. And then I've got 3 more of this. Then I've got some of this aging in cognac barrels. So, yeah, I was super stoked about this one. So I can't wait. I can't wait for some of the geeks to roll in and get some liquor to lips, so to speak.
So is anybody going to get a chance to try this week?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can try it. It's a Distillery Reserve, part of our series.
Okay.
It'll be available. It's available now. Come check it out.
Okay.
I know that this will air after the Rum Fest.
Right. We might clip this out and leak this part out.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, yeah. So if you come in during the Rum Festival, we will have our Distillery Reserve.
All right. There you go.
122 barrel proof, redistilled, aged seconds.
So don't miss. Make sure you get down here.
Yeah, you have to come out and do it. And
right.
I'm gonna get hold of some of the folks at the Florida Rum Society and try to get some of them to. We did a nice group in here last year and try to get some more of them in here to do that. Because those are the ones that are gonna spread the gospel, so to speak, of what we're doing as well. So looking forward to it, man.
Very cool. Well, Shawn.
Anything else?
Yeah, no. This has been great.
It's awesome.
No, I know. So we got a whole lot of other stuff to do.
I should have set up a with one of our bartenders, like it just snapped my fingers or something, and they would bring us a cocktail. Bring us some drinks.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I met the nice ladies here. I think they'd be able to tell you where to go, right?
Yeah. They would laugh at me and go, "Okay, buddy, you get up and make it."
Yeah. I'll be right on it. Yeah. So definitely,
our staff is amazing.
So definitely appreciate the like I said again, the hospitality. The time here. I know we'll do a lot more stuff after the taping here done. We'll probably follow us along, other things we may cross paths or do things tonight or whatever. Yeah. But no, definitely if you're checking this out here on down in Key West, come down. Lots to do here. There's a lot to do in general. Support. This is support local. Support local business, right? And again, there's a lot of people talk about it, but actually doing it, right? And this is one of them. Here's a great Florida-based company. Great people that work here in the industry, the hospitality industry in general right now. Most people would think that in the middle of summer, Key West is the busiest time of the year, and it's hit and miss.
I know. Our summer is like September is dead. It's crickets here, so this is our off season.
Right. So and then I guess Fantasy Fest will roll in, and
the insanities. Ensues from there,
So and then usually, it's more of a crowd that comes through during the off season or during the season. The season is really the wintertime, right? The cooler months.
It kind of season kicks off around like Thanksgiving's when we say season really kind of starts rolling, and then really after Christmas, and rolls through until like May, June.
Right. So,
but coming down, it's warm down here right now. It's August, but. It's my favorite time of year because it's quiet. It's you're probably not gonna have to wait very long to get into any restaurant or anything.
Perfect time to come. Deal with the heat, but there's a lot of water.
It's a great time to be on the water. The winds are down, so the seas are flat, and you get out diving, fishing.
So
drink some rum.
All right, mini season right now, right?
The mini season thankfully is over.
So it's
one of my least favorite times of the year.
The craziness of everybody with a boat heading down to the Keys for mini season.
I'm going to pull my boat down. I'm going to spend $5,000 to go down to Key West and get some Florida spiny lobster that I can buy for like $4 a pound. Otherwise, it's a good business investment.
Yeah, for sure.
Sorry, TDC, but...
So, all right. So, Shawn, again, I appreciate it. Thanks for the hospitality. Thanks for the invite. Thanks for getting a chance to try some of this new stuff here that I haven't tried before. Definitely cool place. We'll hang out a little bit more after this. And, so, again, I appreciate the helping me bring back Drums and Rums. I've been hiatus, like I said before, and just, the other show, Riffs and Rhythms, we've been going through. So, definitely check out that show. All the other shows that I've been on is part of what I ended up rebranding the audio channel as B3 Podcast Network.
All right.
Brands, Bands, and Booze, right?
Nice.
So all the shows that have some music and, reference to those things. And, I get a chance to talk to folks, about what they're doing, what they're up to, what their products are, and so forth. So, obviously Drums and Rums has been the original, right? 5 years running. Riffs and Rhythms, the other show I do with a good buddy and co-host Kevin McLaughlin, is drummer and guitar player, sit and banter, and we talk about Florida independent artists, right, and have them on to promote independent, original music. Nearing our 100th episode, or maybe by the time you listen to us, it might be has already may have happened. And our other show there, partner show, is Jams and Cocktails. It's another one taped in Port St. Lucie there. Good friends Brad and the crew there. So again, a lot of trying to get all together, work together, and these things are all in that space. Looking to support, and obviously we drink, I guess, is a good way to look at that, right? So it's a symbiotic relationship. Alcohol, booze, good time, fun, music is...
It's all right, some of the most beautiful things in life, right?
Exactly, right. So check all this stuff out. Follow us on YouTube, Drums and Rums channel, all the other partner shows there as well. Listen on the audio format podcast, Apple, Spotify, etc. B3 Podcast Network. That's where all the shows are now. Or go to the website. We'll be out there. We're all over the socials. You can't miss us. So, I appreciate
you coming down, man. I appreciate you helping me get the word out about what I'm doing here, about the book, about coming down and hanging out. Our impromptu little jam session here last night.
I know.
Thank the rainstorms, man.
I know, right? Yeah.
Some of the coolest things happen because of rainstorms.
I know, right? It's like, darn, we can't leave the distillery, so let's just drink some more rum and play some music. It's like, is it still raining? Oh, I guess we have to stay.
Yeah, it was a fantastic, fantastic time. So I appreciate it. Yeah.
Well, cool. Thanks, Shawn.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got it. So definitely check out all the Shawn stuff there. Check out his book. Go support.
Yeah.
Starving Artist.
Starving Artist.
Right. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in to Drums and Rums podcast. This is Paul. This is where the back beats meet spirits. Thanks, y'all.